I like Macs now. But
I switched from a Windows laptop.
blue screen, everyone has a reason. We have all Windows.
You saw the Mac Studio.
Yeah.
We've used the Mac Studio.
Yeah.
And now you're considering it for the entire studio.
Yes, I am.
All right, welcome to yet another episode of our podcast, which is currently not weekly, fortnightly. We don't know what is the schedule, but we're doing it. We're doing it as and when we feel the need to. And
no, as and when Ershad calls me. See, we don't discuss the topic. We don't discuss anything. He just says, let's do this.
Let's do this.
And I'm here. I'm right here. So,
Thank you so much.
what are we talking about today?
So the Mac Studio came in to our office.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then we had this interesting conversation, right? I mean, around the Mac Studio, around PCs, what we have in our office.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, let's just build on that. Let's have a
Okay.
conversation around it.
Okay.
Now, before we go on to that whole discussion about Mac versus PC, which is going to be the more interesting one, I want to ask you, you've recently switched, I would say, fairly recently switched to a Mac entirely.
Yes.
Using a Mac entirely.
I have used it previously as well, but right now, yes, I am using Mac. And see, for me, it really does not make a difference.
Yes.
I use browser. I don't do video editing, or prior when I used to blog, I used to use that Live Writer,
Yes.
which was only on Windows. So I had to have Windows. Now Mac is more than, whether it is Mac or Windows, it actually does not make a difference to me.
Yeah.
But now that I'm getting used to the display of a Mac and it's unmatched, so I like Macs now. But it's because I just do watching. I watch videos and probably browse the internet. That's all what I do.
That's the workflow.
Yeah.
I mean, you know that I've been on a Mac for the longest time. I mean,
Yeah. You are a Mac fan, biggest fan I've seen for a Mac.
No, there are reasons for it.
Why?
Also, because I switched from a Windows laptop for work.
Okay.
Because I write a lot, and you know that I write way too much, more than 2,000, 3,000 words a day.
A day, yeah.
And then I realized that the whole ecosystem pull that is there for the Mac works really well for me. When I've written something on, pages, and that document is synced across multiple devices, like an iPad, an iPhone, everything.
See, because you're inside that ecosystem, you have a Apple phone, and then you have an iPad right in your hand, and then you have a MacBook Air, and iPad Mini. I think you're using iPad Mini as well. So you're in the ecosystem, so it becomes much easier. See, I'm not into the ecosystem. I'm using a Samsung phone. So if I was using iPhone, when I was using iPhone and Mac, it was much better. But because it syncs so seamlessly that once you're in the ecosystem, you don't want to get out, and that's what has happened with.
That's what has happened with me. But once I made the switch, now whenever I go back to a Windows-based PC, whether PC or a laptop,
what is it that you find negative about a Windows PC? Tell me. Let's see.
More than once it is. I've already faced like many blue screen of deaths, and now it's become the green screen of death. Apparently,
blue screen. Everyone has a reason other than blue screen.
Just that I've become more accustomed to this side of things, right?
You have become more accustomed, and you are inside that ecosystem, like I said. But one thing about blue screen, I want to say, I rarely see it nowadays, even though I'm not using much. But in last 3-4 years, blue screen was very famous back in 2000s and up till 2010. Now Windows is really improved, especially with Windows 11 and all that. You don't see those blue screens anymore. I mean, at least you see rarely rather than frequently. Yeah, Windows is in our office, for example.
Yes,
we have all Windows machines. It's all Windows, and there's a reason for it. There's a reason for it. And I'm actually, after looking at Mac Studio, I'm thinking whether we should.
Which is what I was coming to actually.
Okay.
The point about that, we are currently on an entirely PC-based ecosystem for our editing needs, where we have the top of the line, most of the times, the top of the line, CPU, the top of the line GPU, because we have that kind of requirement, because we have, folks actually editing on After Effects, on Premiere Pro, everything. But now coming to that but. You saw the Mac Studio. We've used the Mac Studio. And now you're considering it for the entire studio.
Yes, I am. And you know what? See, I'll tell you. With Windows or PCs, what happens is they are far more customizable. When I started 5-6 years back, I could not afford even a 50,000 PC. At that time, me and Pratik got a 30,000 assembled PC, and we started doing our videos on that. And most of them, again, are on Premiere Pro. Like you said, all the editing that happens now is on Premiere Pro. And for that, PCs are good. Windows PCs are great. Another thing is, you can keep on upgrading them at not a big, huge cost. So there are multiple things that led to a ecosystem here in our office being PCs and not Mac. And then Sagar came in, who uses FCB. Then we bought... Actually, it was Pratik who started with Mac in our office, and he used Premiere Pro. It was not all that great, but he's like you, he's a Apple fanboy. So that was the first Mac that came to our office, and now Sagar started using that, and then Mac Studio came in. Now the reason I'm considering is, one, yes, now we can afford it. That affordability factor is there now. Second thing is, they look future-proof, and Premiere Pro, After Effects compatibility with those M1 Max, M1 Ultra chipsets are there. And M1 is probably the biggest differential. The power you get with that, the amount of time you save with that, even the most powerful Windows does not. For example, we did that benchmark test where the Ryzen 9 PC took about 15 minutes for rendering, whereas Mac Studio took about 3-4 minutes. Even if it is 8-9 minutes for an M1 Max, I'm okay with it. We are saving that much time.
So for context, we got the top of the line M1 Ultra with 128 GB of RAM and all of that. So which is why obviously the times are much better.
Yes.
But we are looking at a M1 Max based system. The base one.
Yes. So I really don't know. So I'm going to take we are going to try it out. See, another problem. I want a PC right now. I can tell Sajid, yaar, ye manga, wo manga, and we assemble it and we just go ahead with it. Right now, yesterday I was trying to order a M1 Max, and 1.5 month waiting is there. 1.5 month. Even Unicorn here, the offline Apple stores don't have it. Online, if I order, it's not there. I mean, it'll take about 1.5 months. So availability is also an issue with Mac. So
that's currently definitely a problem, considering that Shenzhen's been a little disrupted for the past 2 months. Hopefully it'll get better. Hopefully we'll be able to get the Macs to our office.
I'm going to whatever it is, I am going to order a M1 Max, and I'm going to install Premiere Pro and After Effects and see what the performance is going to be with that, because top of the line M1 Ultra is obviously expected to do that.
So we have to test that with an M1 Max.
Because I did buy a Mac Mini, and it didn't work out. I mean, we could not do video editing properly on that.
No, that is actually a very good valid point that you raised, because it is genuinely a problem with a lot of people in our industry as well. Our own fellow creators who actually moved to an M1 based Mac Mini or a MacBook Air, they seem to not have that kind of a good experience with Premiere Pro based workflows.
Premiere Pro,
even with FCP based workflows, they're not generally having a good experience.
But what I'm banking upon, and I want to, one of the reasons why I want to move to Mac is because going forward, I think the Adobe compatibility with these M1 chipsets, Adobe software compatibility, is only going to get better.
Yes, that is
and that is what I'm really banking upon, but I'm not going to make a shift immediately right now. Let's wait and watch. I'm going to give it a try, M1 Max, see if it works well. Ask Arjun that whether this works. If he says yes, then we'll
go ahead. I mean, obviously Arjun's the final call when it comes to editing. So we'll have to wait for his take on it. And he's a big, PC person.
He's a PC proponent. Bhai, wahi chahiye mujhe. That's it. Mac, they always have fight, right?
Sagar and Arjun.
They always.
And I generally, I'm eating popcorn on the side.
No, you're on Sagar's side always.
Of course. Apple that goes without saying. I really do want, our studio to move to the Mac based ecosystem. Primarily,
why do you want it? Yeah,
I'll tell you why. Because it looks really good. It looks clean. It looks minimal. I mean, we underestimate design a lot, but I feel that design is also a very important factor when it comes to, for me, not choosing a PC. Because I mean, obviously, yes, you can make a clean, minimal desktop, but I think that RGB is. I hate it, and we are filled with RGB machines in our office. I don't want it. I want minimal setups.
Can I be honest with you?
Yes.
I think that brand value is what most people look for. See, when you have Mac all over the place in the office, like, wow, these guys are doing some great work.
I mean,
and then you have those PCs, those cabinets and all that. It does not give the same impression. So, even when you're using the iPad and the iPhone, MacBook Air, that is also about the brand value that it brings along.
It is kind of true. And we cannot deny that, right?
We cannot.
Okay. And you know what? I'll have to be extremely candid out here. If a client who wants to use our expertise for production work comes in and he sees a bunch of Mac machines, he'll be like, "Arey boss, these guys know what they're doing."
Yeah, I agree.
That happens. That happens.
Yeah.
And another thing that we sort of missed out on discussing, and that's also very important with generally with respect to a Mac versus PC conversation right now with the M1 Max and the Ultra chips, is power efficiency.
No, but this is very recent phenomenon.
Yeah.
Like again, 750 watt versus what 300
70 watt.
300 watt?
370 watts.
370 watt. Yeah, 370 watt on a Mac Studio. Wow, that's like 50% power saving. And if you calculate that into 20, because that's a huge number. The amount of savings that we'll do on
and you'll get the same kind of power or more power.
More power, yeah. So that is another big reason.
I'm giving you reasons to actually
I know Arjun has to give a go ahead, and second thing is M1 Max has to work properly when I order.
When we order it and get it.
So, see, I am not against. Earlier, I was completely averse or against getting Mac, but now I am opening up to it because I am using it myself and I see value in it. So it's not that I am now against Mac. I am for it, but it has to solve our problems. That is what it should.
Okay, now we've spoken about the studio setup and what we have currently. But at a personal level, for people who are watching the video, they're obviously not running studios and not doing the kind of work that we are doing. At a personal level, do you think that the price is justified? Not only for the M1 Max or the M1 Ultra, even for something like an M1.
It is not justified. See, that's what brings brand value. See, you're paying for that brand value. You're paying for that Apple logo. Right. You're paying for the design. So it's just not about... See, people still buying it, right? Also, I did some research, by the way. What is the market share for Mac? Do you know it is less than 10%? It is only 8%.
Yeah, I'm aware of that. Yeah.
And Apple can actually reduce the price, but they're not, because they want to keep it at a level where it has that value. Exclusivity. So, for me also, when I have a Mac on my table and someone comes in there, oh wow, Mac. So, wo hota hi hai, wo hai uske andar. So, I will not say they give value for what you pay for, but in a indirect way. I think that's actually well put, because it is actually kind of indirect. It's also perception that is perception building that happens with the brand that you're actually going on. And you know what? While we're talking about technology like that, it's actually generally true for a lot of products that we buy, like even clothes we wear. Yes, it does. It does define that logo makes a lot of difference.
If somebody's walking around with a Gucci bag, that person knows what it is. Something. Yeah. So that's the kind of value that Apple has generated.
Yes.
And ideally, obviously, a lot of people who are watching this video, I mean, they for them a Windows ecosystem is obviously better, and it's not like we don't have good options there. In fact, I have tested quite a few Windows laptops of late, and they've been very good. I mean, they've
that Dell laptop and wow. And see, that is there again. The amount of options you get in a Windows or a PC. The ports that you get there, I mean, you can kind of customize it, or you will get whatever you want. I want a 120 hertz or a 240 hertz display, refresh rate display. I will get it in, but I don't know. There are 5 different things: iMac, Mac, MacBook Pro, MacBook Air. That's about it. I mean, जो हम दे रहे हैं वही आप लीजिए. I mean, whatever Apple says, this is what it is. You have to take it.
That is correct. And the other point, a lot of the personal users would be thinking about is it doesn't do gaming. Mac will not do gaming.
Yeah, gaming.
That is a huge
for gamers especially. I don't think anyone buys Mac for gaming.
No, it's not an option only. It's not even an option. Forget about it. If you're a gamer, just stick to your Windows or consoles and everything, right? I mean, that's one thing. I think to close this off, I would personally say, I don't know if you agree with that, but I would like your take on that. Like, if for many users, I think that a MacBook laptop, like a MacBook Air, is great. But when it comes to building a PC, for personal users, I think that they should actually stick to a PC and not buy a Mac machine. Not like a Mac Mini either. Like I would say,
you will not suggest a Mac Mini?
No, it's difficult.
60,000 you guys
yeah, I know.
Mac Mini for regular usage of. See, another thing is softwares. I mean, a lot of softwares are still not available on Mac, so that is a big thing. And when I started, I told you that one of the reasons I did not shift earlier was because Windows Live Writer was not there, where I used to write my blogs and all that. So that is also
issues.
Yeah. So I'll still say what you said was right. If at home you want a PC or a machine, then I think Windows PC assembled PC or a laptop will be much better.
But for a studio setup, I think we should move to Mac Studio.
He's not leaving that. I'm going to try, like I said, probably next year, same time, if you are having a podcast, we might
have already shifted. We might have B-rolls showing you.
We might have. See, Arjun sits next to you. Try to convince him, and I think we should be good. We should be good.
So what do you think of this conversation? Did you have fun?
I always have fun. Thank you. I mean, it was really nice. But I don't know how many people will be interested in it who are watching it. Let's see. This is what we see. We try to bring, at least in the podcast, like we discussed, raw discussions where we don't plan. We speak whatever we think.
Yes, absolutely.
I think that is what we want to.
I'm glad we don't plan. It's easier to have you speak candidly.
Yeah, candidly.
And it actually feels much more fun.
And it's different than all our regular videos.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right. So that's it from us.
Yeah, that's it. Until next time, keep tracking and stay safe.